The Rapids Lake Unit is one of 8 units that make up the Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge. The lake is near the Carver Rapids as the Minnesota River makes its way north. It is clearly a stopping point for migrating waterfowl, as this is one of the first lakes of this size to be mostly free of ice. As I made my way to the shoreline, we could tell it was packed with swans, ducks, and geese. For waterfowl photography, you need a big lens. They are always on the complete opposite side of the lake. A common goldeneye flew by. There were all sorts of ducks hidden among the swans and geese, like these canvasbacks and redheads. Flock after flock kept dumping in. There were hundreds of Canada geese, but several greater white-fronted and snow geese were mixed in. Some of the snow geese were in the blue morph. Both of these mallard-sized geese breed in the Arctic tundra, so they have a ways to go on their trip north. They follow established routes using the same stopover points each year. Snow geese migrate in large flocks, flying at altitudes up to 7,500 feet, much higher than the Canada goose. Last year, in the last days of February, 2 million snow geese arrived at one wildlife refuge in Missouri as a stopover. Considering that food passes through their digestive system in an hour or two, and they can produce between 6 to 15 droppings per hour, this is a staggering amount of geese. Canada geese usually migrate in flocks of 30 to 100. Due to the short supply of open water, this was the spot to see tons of geese. Each flock that dumped in would have a few greater white-fronted, easy to pick out by the white face and orange legs. Eventually, there would be more of these than anything else. One person had counted 50 snow geese, 200 greater white-fronted geese, and 100 Canada geese earlier in the day. We were about to exceed all of those numbers, and we weren't going to count. We really could have used some air traffic control. When you have 15-pound birds moving at 40 miles per hour, the landings get chaotic. We heard an even bigger, deafening wave coming, and the sky actually got dark. Lots of greater white fronts. So much for flying in V's. Many people try to understand how geese behave in groups and how they use the same migration routes. Is it magnetism? Do they use landmarks? Jeremiah 8:7 says, "Even the stark in the sky knows her appointed season, and the dove and the swift and the thrush, the time of their migration."
Oh, this is fallout.
This is what the sky looked like as the large flocks came down on the lake. There were about 100 swans on the lake as well. The trumpeter and tundra swan are almost identical. For the first time ever, I was able to pick up distinct calls, with the trumpeter more bugle-like and the tundra much higher pitched. Also, the trumpeter swan has a 6.5-foot wingspan, while the tundra is only 5.5. There were many species of ducks flying as well. Here, a flock of pintail buzzed the shoreline. You would need a bigger lens and more pictures to capture everything that was going on. On the shallow end of the lake, mergansers, eagles, and ring-billed gulls were all fishing, each photo capturing something exciting happening, something we would have never noticed if we hadn't zoomed in on this little slice of the return of the waterfowl migration.